Alright, you guys, we're getting there. This is really good stuff. Now this next section, not everybody needs to do this. This is counting calories. And it's called counting calories, making it effective. A lot of people count calories, or they look at the calorie content in food, but it's in reference to nothing. They don't have a daily caloric number that they're shooting for. They're just counting calories in food. They say, oh, 500 calories, that's a lot. And I'm like, in reference to what? And they don't have an answer. So why would you count calories? What are you counting to? If you're counting, what are you counting to? Now the other thing is, a lot of people do have a daily caloric number that they shoot for, but that number has no basic scientific reasoning to it. It's like, well, I eat 1,200 calories a day. Why do you eat 1,200 calories a day? Because I read an article one time that told me to do that. Okay, that's not a good reason to. You got to personalize it a little bit. Everybody's body requires a different amount of calories. Now, I'm going to give you guys an equation here. You see it in the notes. Maybe you've already read about it in How to Stop Being Fat and or Tired. I'm just going to kind of simplify it here. It's the same equation. It really is pretty simple, but it can look a little complicated at first because it has numbers and stuff in there. And a lot of us haven't done any math since high school or even junior high, and we got to remember how to do this stuff. So I'm going to simplify it for you. Not everybody needs to count calories. Who needs to count calories? Basically, I made a list of just a few different sources here, not sources, types of people that should consider counting calories and making sure they're having enough. Anybody who's over-dieted throughout their life, so they've messed up their metabolism, they can't go on low-calorie diets because their body's already resistant to it. They need to slowly increase the calories. I'm going to give one case study of a lady that I did this with who lost weight from doing that. People who eat lower calories, like less than 1,800 every single day, especially if they're active on top of that and they can't lose weight, they need to consider bumping up their calorie intake slowly. People who are terrified of calories, so they probably have a low-calorie food plan. People who are really active, but they don't eat enough, so they're active and they have low-calorie diets. Active and underfed is a way of referring to someone like that. Their performance is severely suffering in their athletic activity, whatever it is, primarily because they're not getting enough fuel for their body. You got to have the fuel to burn, so you want to make sure that number is high. People who struggle to recover from workouts and other physical activities. So if you get more sore than you should from exercise and really beat up and overall fatigued, like if you do a tough leg workout on Monday and you're completely wiped out all day Tuesday for Monday's leg workout, you're probably not eating enough calories. So you want to increase that number. Now, how many calories do we want? That's going to depend on a couple of factors. If you go to page 8 in the notes, you're going to see some images here, and these are pictures of what somebody's body looks like at these different body fat levels. And based on my experience, this is a really accurate representation. I have the link up there to where I found this chart. You can look at it. Now, use this chart to pin yourself and to see where you land. Of course, this is not going to be exact. And really give yourself a good look in the mirror, see what your body looks like, get in your underwear if you need to. Well, you need to get in your underwear because you got to do that to see what your body fat looks like. And then look at these pictures and see where you fit and estimate on the number. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be pretty right on with that number. You're going to be close enough for the purposes of utilizing this formula. Okay? So first thing you want to do is you want to find out what your body fat percentage is. Next thing you want to do is you want to take your weight. So I'm going to use my numbers as an example. And I'm going to exaggerate on one of my numbers just to make the numbers easier to work with. So I weigh 200 pounds. That's true. I weigh exactly 200, almost right at 200, pinpoint. And my body fat percentage is actually about, ranges from 12 to 14%. But we're going to bring it down to 10% just for the purpose of doing this exercise. Okay? So this exercise is to find your basal metabolism, or BM. You can also think of BM as bare minimum. BM does not stand for bowel movement in this context, but bowel movements are important. But BM just stands for basal metabolism, or bare minimum number of calories that you need to consume every single day for optimal performance. And fat loss. Fat loss falls under the optimal performance category. Okay? So if your calories are too low, you can compromise your body's ability to lose fat. I know that doesn't compute with a lot of people, but it's true nonetheless. So if you're at this point, and if you haven't done this yet, give this a good, honest, legitimate try. Apply it. See how your body responds. And once again, you're going to be amazed at how you feel and how much better your body's able to lose fat when you have adequate numbers of calories. So I weigh 200 pounds. We're going to say my body fat's 10%. So next thing we want to do is we want to find my lean mass, or my LM. So my lean mass then is going to be 180 pounds. How do I get that? Well, I'm 200 pounds. I'm 10% body fat, so that means 20 pounds of me are body fat. So I want to take 200 pounds overall minus 20 pounds of body fat, and that gives me 180 pounds of non-fat weight, or lean mass. Same thing. So my lean mass, or my LM, is 180 pounds. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to take that 180 and multiply it by 10. This gives me 1800. Now 1800 is my BM, my basal metabolism. Now that doesn't mean I eat 1800 calories a day. That wouldn't be enough for me. What that does mean is that if I were to do absolutely nothing, if I stayed in bed all day long, I need a minimal amount of 1800 calories just for my body to run its natural processes and keep me healthy. Okay? But I do activity, so I'm going to show you how to factor that in to give you a bigger number, because my number is bigger than 1800. Now you'll see on page 9 4 different categories. We have extremely active, very active, moderately active, and non-active, basically. Nobody's non-active because your heart beats and you blink and your lungs expand, but basically non-active is a category. Okay? And again, this isn't exact 100% pinpointed science, but it's pretty darn close, and it's going to give you a good number and an accurate, solid number to shoot for. A number that experience will dictate if you apply it. This will actually work really well for you. So first we have extremely active. This means you work a physical job, construction, mail carrier, builder, landscaper, etc. And you work out hard 5 times or more per week on top of doing a physical job. Very few people are going to be extremely active, but some of you are. Very active, this is a category I fit in. You either work a physical job and exercise 3 times a week, or you work a desk job and you work out 5 times a week. I work a fairly physical job. I move weights around, I train people, I'm on my feet a lot, but it's not hard physical labor. I'm not digging holes, I'm not hitting nails with a hammer consistently or doing anything like that. But I work out at least 5 days a week, sometimes 7. So I'm in the very active category. And then there's moderately active, and then there's non-active. And again, look on the page to break down those categories for you. Moderately active, you have a desk job and you work out 3 to 4 times a week, or you have a physical job and you don't exercise. In non-active, you neither exercise nor do you work a physical job. That's also called sedentary, is the way that we call that, the term that we use. So here's a table. If you're extremely active, the number will be up on the screen here. If you're extremely active, you're going to do your basal metabolism times 1. So basically your basal metabolism plus your basal metabolism. That's only for the extremely active category. Now if you're very active, like me, that category, you're going to do BM times 0.7. Take that number and then add on to that number again my basal metabolism. Okay? So my basal metabolism is 1800, and then times 0.7 is whatever that is, 1260 I think it is. And then I'm going to add my 1800 to the 1260, and that gives me 3060 calories. Now 3060 is my daily caloric number, my daily caloric value, or CV, caloric value, daily caloric value. That's going to be 3060 calories for me. Okay, that's pretty dang close, because I know if I consistently eat that number and stay really active, I feel the best, I recover the best, I'm able to build strength and muscle and endurance much faster, I sleep better at night, I feel better, I have better energy, my skin's better, I can talk louder, I can actually project my voice, I'm not tired. If I dip below that number and I keep my activity level high, I get worn out, wiped out, I hurt more, my joints hurt, my muscles hurt, my soreness lasts longer, I don't feel like I get stronger in my workouts, I'm not as excited to work out, my energy's lower, I feel like I have less zest and gusto for life, all that kind of stuff happens. So I know from my experience, this is a really accurate formula for me, and this is also an accurate formula for some other people that I've worked with. I'll tell you a little bit about Deb. She's somebody I worked with a while ago. She was struggling. She's going from about 800 to 1400 calories a day, but she was fluctuating. Calorie fluctuation creates big problems if you struggle to lose body fat. The first thing you need to do is get a consistent daily caloric number. So first Deb fluctuated from 8 to 1400. So what we did is we started her out at 1,200. I sort of split the difference but kept it on the higher end. First week I had her make sure she consistently got 1,200 calories a day. Next week we went to 1,400 calories a day. Next week we went to 1,600 calories a day. Next week we went to 1,800 calories a day. Now throughout that process, Deb was losing about 1 to 2 pounds per week as she was doing that. Now she had not lost weight, fluctuating from as low as 800 up to 1,400 calories a day. Could not lose weight, was stuck. Got a consistent number, gradually increased that number, and as that number was increasing gradually, she was still losing weight. So she didn't know at first. She didn't totally believe me. Then she started doing it. Then she saw the results. And she kept doing it for a little while. I think she fell off track again. It happens. Life gets in the way. You got to stay disciplined. You got to stay diligent. But while she was doing it, she was losing weight. There are a lot of other case studies of this. Look up Chris Aceto's information. This is where I got this formula from. He'll give you a bunch more case studies. You can look up his stuff. He's written loads of articles and a couple of books. But there's a reason this stuff works. Now, counting calories is tedious. What are the couple of ways you can make this not so painful and tedious, and you don't want to spend too much time doing this? How do we do that? Number one is get an app on your phone or go on the computer and go to myfitnesspal.com. You can also look up in your Play Store, in your App Store, Apple Store, whatever, look up MyFitnessPal. And it'll give you an app on your phone. It's free. You can log in there and you can input your food, and that will give you a caloric number. Now here's what you'll realize after doing this for a little bit. You'll realize that you basically eat the same meals and you circulate through those same meals throughout the course of the week. Unless you go and eat out and celebrate, then you don't do that. You basically eat the same meals, throughout the week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe you eat from 5 to 10 different meals on a weekly basis. So what you want to do is make a list of all the meals that you eat. You're going to put the calorie content of that meal, and you're going to have a list of the meal with the calories, meal, calories, whole list. Then you just consult that list when you want to add up how many calories you've had that day. And after doing that for about a week, you remember mentally how many calories everything has that you eat, and it's easy to add up. Deb found this thing too. She thought it was going to be horrible and daunting, and once she got into it, it really wasn't that difficult. So you'll find the same thing. Get a list. MyFitnessPal even has a feature where you can save meals in there. You just got to go in and learn it a little bit. Go in and save meals, and that'll give you the calorie value of that meal. So you'll be able to add it up really easily, really quickly, really simply at the end of the day. Go ahead and do this stuff. Start out with this calorie counting program. Keep a food journal. Track your results. Let me know how you do. Make sure you're eating enough calories every day. And if you need to increase your calories, make sure you do it gradually by only 100 to 200 calories per day per week. So if you're eating 1,000 calories this week every single day, make sure you consistently eat that every day. Next week go to 1,400 calories, 13 or 1,400. Next week go up another 100 or 200. Next week another 100 or 200. And gradually bring that number up till you hit your daily caloric number, and then focus on hitting that number every day. Try to do it every day for a month. Even if you have junk food, just factor that in and try to keep it right at that number. Keep it at that number. You'll find you get there faster. Keep the food clean. This is going to be another method that helps you get to your goals much faster, much better. You're going to feel better. Everything's going to go better for you.